I'm reacting to the hottest fan takes for the Buffalo Bills entering 2024 today on Locked On Bills.
You are Locked On Bills, your daily Buffalo Bills podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Bills Mafia? It's Joe Marino, author of Go Bills and Buffalo's Run, also the co-host of the Locked On NFL Scouting podcast, and I'm your host of Locked On Bills. Want to thank you for making Locked On Bills your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, I appreciate y'all being here very, very much. I'd also like to invite you to subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Well, folks, welcome in. We're going to do something a little bit different today. This episode is called Takes on Takes. And if you listen to my other podcast, Locked On NFL Scouting, every Friday we do something called Takes on Takes, where listeners will send in their hottest takes about whatever, right? Usually something about that week in football, big picture thoughts that they have. And then Kyle and I, we go through and we give our take on your take. Takes on Takes. Today on Locked On Bills, these takes are 100% about the Buffalo Bills, about the 2024 season, and they come from members of the Locked On Bills Discord community. And so yesterday I put out a message to everyone in there and I said, hey, give me your hottest takes about the Bills for the 2024 season. They can be as big picture or as specific as you want them to be. And the most interesting ones I will react to on today's episode. So that's what we're doing. And folks, get in on the Discord community. There's two ways that you can get into our Discord. Number one, subscribe to the Locked On Bills subtext community. It's a really fun thing that I have going on. It's where I'm going to send you text messages. You can get my first reaction to all Bills news. You'll get my in-game analysis. So as I'm watching Bills game, I send out a text to people pretty much after every drive, let you know what I'm thinking. You get my all 22 film breakdowns, and you get access to the Discord channel. And then I also have launched a Substack, and that is going to be where you can find my written work. And I'm writing several articles per week about the Bills. It launched yesterday. There's 2 articles there for you. There's 2 more coming. The rest of this week, it's free for the first week of the season. So check out what that has to offer. But also, if you subscribe, you get into our Discord channel. So 2 different ways to get into the Discord channel. That way you're not missing out. Actually, tonight, I'm doing a Discord exclusive show where I'm going to pick the Bills. I'm going to go game by game and pick all the Bills results this season exclusively for the Discord community. So be part of that. There's a link to join in today's show notes. You can join the subtext community. You can join the Substack and get into the Discord. Again, click on the show notes and become part of what we have going on. So anyways, I wanted to let you know where these takes came from, and that's where they come from. And so let's get into them. We'll kind of go like this. I have a bunch of offensive takes. I have a bunch of defensive takes, few special teams, and then some big picture things for the season. We'll kind of work through them in that order, starting with the offense. First one here comes from Twisted Pixel. It says Ray Davis will be RB1 by the end of the year. His blocking, ball security, contact balance are all superior to James Cook. Folks, I promise you, I didn't submit that one, all right? Somebody else sent that in, but you know how I feel about this. I feel like Ray Davis is absolutely going to eat into this workload that James Cook has. Remember, 281 touches last year. I think that James Cook is a lot closer to the 200 touch to 225 touch range. And then you see Ray Davis coming in 150 to 175 touches. So I'm going to stop short of saying that Ray Davis will be RB1, but I do think that he puts a significant dent into the opportunities that James Cook had last year. I think they're a good complementary pair of backs. You have a slashing, agile runner in James Cook. You have a physical downhill runner in Ray Davis. They both give you a lot in the passing game. And Davis certainly helps more in pass protection and short yardage. There's different areas where Davis can really provide more value than James Cook, but it's a good complementary pair. But I do think it's a matter of time before you really start to see Ray Davis featured in this offense. And so, again, I'm stopping short of RB1, but I think he's going to command a lot of workload this year. Graham says, my big take is Josh Allen is going to prove that he doesn't need Diggs to be an elite quarterback. While I admit Diggs helped Allen grow, I don't think Allen needs him to put up elite numbers. Josh Allen wins MVP this year because he proves he does not need Diggs. I think Josh Allen's going to have a great season. I gave you my statistical breakdown for Josh Allen, what I expect from him this year on the Monday episode, and it was a good year. There's no question about it. And as it relates to the possibility of Josh Allen being the NFL MVP this year, I think some of the reduced expectations for the Bills, which is centered around the transition when it comes to the pass catchers and this idea that the Bills don't have a go-to guy in the passing game. If Josh Allen goes out and puts up the numbers he typically does with maybe a few less turnovers, I think that's going to move the needle as long as the Bills' team success follows that, right? I think that's what it comes down to. But my expectations are high for Josh Allen. And one thing that excites me about Josh Allen is, boy, he's doubted, right? You've heard from executives, you've heard from players that people are saying he's overrated. Okay, what has Josh Allen done at every point of his football career? He's proved people wrong. He has silenced the doubters. Okay, all right. Maybe you haven't learned anything to this point, but I think Josh Allen's going to have one heck of a season, and I think a lot of that could be because of the doubt that exists around him. The next one here comes from NFL Draft Fanatics Jim, who says Ray Davis will have more rushing yardage than Josh Allen this season. It's a good one. I think it's going to be close. And obviously, it's going to come down to who gets the opportunities to run the football. Is Ray Davis going to eat into James Cook's workload like I think he will? Will Ray Davis take something off of Josh Allen's plate in terms of short yardage to take away from those carries? Will Josh Allen run at the same frequency that he has in years past, right? Those are the variables in play. And right now, I have Josh Allen right at 100 rushing attempts. I have Ray Davis at about 150. I think it's possible. I think it's going to be really close. Really close. The next one comes from R Seal 2, who says, my take is that no Bills player will finish with over 1,000 receiving yards, partly because I don't think we have any one player quite capable of that sort of production, but also because I expect the target share to be spread out, and I expect us to run the ball more frequently this year. I think if there's going to be a 1,000-yard player in the passing game for the Bills, a 1,000-yard receiver, I do think it's going to be Dalton Kincaid, and I think it's going to be close. I think right now I project him to have around 925 yards. Certainly possible for him, and I think that Khalil Shakir has a chance as well. But I obviously didn't predict the Bills to have a 1,000-yard player in the passing game. So I agree with this, but I think it's close. And what's going to happen here is Josh Allen's going to kind of feel out this season, and he's going to throw the ball to the players that he trusts the most. I know the Bills are going to want to share the ball. There's going to be a lot of distribution of targets, but there's going to be a preferred order. And Josh Allen's going to find the guys he trusts the most. And I feel like Kincaid and Shakir are going to eat quite a bit this season. Mook says Curtis Samuel has as many or more rushing touchdowns as James Cook. Fascinating one here, because James Cook, not a short yardage guy, so any rushing touchdown that he gets has to come from a little bit of distance. And I think that Curtis Samuel is going to get some chances to run the football. I think it might be pretty close. I think you could see like 4 rushing touchdowns from James Cook and 2 from Curtis Samuel. But I think the volume component is going to just make this unlikely to be true. Again, James Cook, I think, is going to have 200-ish carries. I think Curtis Samuel is going to have 40 to 50. I think James Cook holds him off, but I do think it'll be close. DPG says the Buffalo Bills lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and rushing first downs. per NFL.com in 2023. The Ravens led with 2,661 yards. The Bills had 2,212. Three teams had 27 touchdowns. The Bills had 22, and the Bills led the league with 158 rushing first downs. Totally can see it. Totally can see it. I think the Bills are going to run the ball well. I think that their running back situation is better than it was last year. I think the way that Joe Brady will be able to impress upon the run scheme with a full offseason to install with Aaron Kromer and kind of marrying up the passing game with the run game in some ways, I do think that there's a lot to be excited about with this Bills rushing offense. Now, will the Bills lead the NFL in rushing? They're going to be in that mix. I think they're going to be one of the top 4 teams when it comes to those rushing stats. I don't know if I will buy that they're going to lead in all of those major categories, but they'll be near the top at all of them. Jake says Keon Coleman 10+ touchdowns. I don't see it. I don't see it, guys. I'm sorry. It's not really because of anything that I think about Keon Coleman as a player. I just don't think that opportunity is going to be there. Who gets double-digit touchdowns for the Bills? It's so rare. It's like not a normal thing in terms of receiving touchdowns. The record for the team in franchise history is like 12. The only guy that's come close to that Stephon Diggs has done that in recent years. He's top 10 touchdowns, but I don't think that Keon Coleman as a rookie is going to get there. I think he probably has about half that, 5-6 touchdowns is what I'm expecting for Keon. I like the aggressive take. I just don't see it. All right, folks, we got some defensive stuff, a few more offensive ones as well to get to on the other side of it. Be sure to stick with me. But, folks, I do need to tell you about this great opportunity that you have to join me this weekend. I'm going to be part of a new tradition, Colton RV and Marine's Rally on the River day before kickoff festival, Saturday, September 7th, the day before the Bills host the Cardinals in week 1. There's going to be an awesome, awesome event at Buffalo Riverworks, Rally on the River. I'm doing a live podcast. I'm going live at 3 o'clock, and I'm excited to do that for the live audience. And then, of course, I'll plan on spending a good part of my day at the Riverworks. So I'd love to say hello, interact, get to meet you guys. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a big event, a day-long thing. There's Chalk Fest, where it's all the best chalk artists in the area are going to come and draw these amazing pictures on the grain silos. And the theme is authentically Western New York. There's going to be a beer release party for the Buffalo's first organic beer line called OM. It's very good. I've tried it. Come check that out. There's going to be a mechanical buffalo that you can ride. Other bands are going to be there. Strictly Hip, the Scott Solani, Tom Petty cover band, Mark Christie of Flipside, food, tailgate, drink specials. All of it's going on this Saturday. Buffalo Riverworks, Rally on the River. I am doing a podcast at 3 o'clock live there. Come say hello. Come be part of it. And it's rain or shine. And I know there's a chance of rain on Saturday, but this is mostly an indoor event. The podcast and the other bands, they're going to be on the main stage inside Riverworks. And Chalk Fest is also inside. So don't let the rain scare you off. We're going to do this thing, rain or shine. It's going to be an awesome event. Don't miss out on it. There's a link in today's show notes to the event page on Facebook. Check that out. It gives you all the details. Say that you're going. Share it. Let's make this the premier thing to do in Western New York this weekend. I can't wait to be a part of it. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Well, got a little something different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel at any time. Just visit FanDuel.com to download America's #1 sportsbook. All right, folks, a few more offensive takes, and then we'll get to the defensive side of things. Davis, RB1, Cook, wide receiver 5, says Dalton Kincaid and Khalil Shakir clear 1,000 scrimmage yards. If there's going to be two players that do it, it's going to be these two guys. But there hasn't been two 1,000-yard receivers yet under Josh Allen, even when he had Diggs and Beasley. I don't see it. I don't see both of these guys topping 1,000 yards. Maybe one. Maybe one. Get the Tables says, I think Curtis Samuel will disappoint us. I don't know. I think if Curtis Samuel disappoints, it won't be because he's not in positions to be productive and his skill set isn't good. If Curtis Samuel disappoints us, I think it'll be tied to availability and injuries, right? He's got a decorated history of injuries that gives you a little bit of a pause. I think that's where the disappointment would come if it does. Not because he doesn't have good opportunities and not because his skill isn't good enough. He just won't be healthy. I think that would be your reason why. All right, let's move on to the defense, and there are some aggressive defensive takes here. The first one from Bog, who says Kaiir Elam is the interception leader. I disagree with this because I don't know, barring injury, how much opportunity Kaiir Elam's going to have. I don't think he's going to see the field over Rasul Douglas or over Christian Benford. I think those are your starters, and I don't think the Bills should be thinking about rotating corners. Now, injuries are definitely a thing, and the Bills have had a lot of injuries at corner. One of my talking points from the summer was, Dane Jackson was never a preferred starter for the Bills, yet over the last 3 seasons, he started 26 games. So CB3 does play, but I have a hard time buying into him leading the team in interceptions when he's CB3 and nobody's hurt yet. So if for some reason he plays a reasonable amount of snaps, certainly. Yeah, he is a guy that has good ball skills. I just don't think he's going to play enough snaps. I think Kaiir Elam is more of a 2025 thing. Papa T says the Bills defense will be the best it has been under Sean McDermott. The depth on the interior D-line, balance of vets and youth entering their prime on the edge, with Terrel Bernard, Kaiir, and a cornerback entering year 3, and cornerback, he said CB, Christian Benford, entering year 3, and Rasul in a contract year. I don't know. I'm not buying this. The Bills defense has been really good under Sean McDermott. Top 10 in total defense 5 of the last 6 years, a couple of top 3 finishes over that time. And I think with your questions in terms of linebacker next to Bernard, both safety spots, I mean, I recognize the depth on the interior defensive line, but do they have a game wrecker up front? I don't know. I think the Bills defense will be fine. I think it'll be around a top 10 defense, but the best yet under McDermott, when he's had such a lengthy history of very good defenses, I like it. Sign me up. I hope you're right. I don't see it. Mo's Def, Greg Rousseau, double-digit sacks. Where do I sign for that? That would make me very happy. I think he gets close. I think this is well within the realm of possibilities. I thought he would have done it last year if he didn't have that foot injury. I mean, really, was it week 4? Has a broken bone in his foot, misses week 5, and then tries to play through it the rest of the season. And he was off to a great start. And I think we saw a little tease in the preseason of what this guy's capable of. I think he's brimming, like he's ripe to break out. I certainly feel that. Obviously, a player that we'll be talking about a contract extension with. And you know how you get paid in the NFL as a defensive lineman? You get sacks. I mean, even Jordan Phillips turned a fluky 9.5 sack season into a 3-year, $30 million contract from the Cardinals, right? You get sacks, you get paid, even if it's fluky. I don't think that'll be the case for Rousseau. I think he's got a lot of skill and plenty of reason to believe that his best football's coming. It'll be close. It would not surprise me. That's what I'll say. It would not be surprised if Greg Rousseau hits double-digit sacks. Jacob says, Lewis Cine is a significant part of the defense by the end of the season and becomes a cornerstone for the future. That would be a fun development. So Lewis Cine, former first-round pick of the Vikings, now on the Bills practice squad. Only 2 years in Minnesota before they released him. Now he's in Buffalo. He had a big, significant injury as a rookie. Never really got much of an opportunity to showcase himself. I don't know, though. I think there's a path for Lewis Cine to enter the conversation, but the Bills play the players that they trust. And I just feel like that as a practice squad player that signed a week before the season, I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to prove himself at any point during the season that's going to put him in position to bump a lot of guys, right? So you figure Taylor Rapp plus one of Hamlin, Bishop, Edwards are your starters. So he'd have to jump all three of them. He'd have to jump Cam Lewis. He'd have to jump Kareem Jackson probably as well. I think if Lewis Cines going to factor into the mix, he's going to have to win a job next offseason. And what's interesting about that is you have Cole Bishop, who you drafted in the second round. Obviously, the vision there is for him to start at some point. And Taylor Rapp, who you signed to a 3-year deal. Now, maybe Taylor Rapp flops, and maybe Lewis Cines and Cole Bishop are the safeties moving forward 2025 and beyond. But I'm going to stop short of expecting anything from Lewis Cines in 2024. Wolf says poor play from the linebackers and safeties will be the team's Achilles heel this year. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm not going to say that this is going to cripple the Bills, but when I think about defensively things that give me concern, of course, it's do they have a game record for the playoffs, right? I think the Bills will continue to get a decent amount of sacks, very good pressure rate. I recognize that. My concern is it never shows up in the playoffs. But yes, linebackers and safeties, I'm very concerned about it. You got 4 guys. You have 4 starters, right? I feel good about one of those players. And part of that's just because I haven't seen it. I mean, Dorian Williams could have taken a major step and he's ready to go. Taylor Rapp could be more comfortable this year, right? But I didn't really see anything from those players last year that makes me say, you know what, man, I think they're ready to be great starters for this team. And then you have to figure out who the heck the running mate is for Taylor Rapp. The Bills' defense is designed to limit big plays. And we haven't seen a lot of coverage busts at all under Sean McDermott. You start getting some issues with processing from a linebacker or a safety, and all of a sudden your coverage is leaky and there's space available. Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. So you could convince me that this could be a problem for the Bills this year. Hopefully not, but it could be. Evan says Terrel Bernard is finally recognized and voted into the Pro Bowl. Not really a hot take. He should have made it last year. Yeah, I think this is possible for sure. Terrel Bernard is a player that is going to get splash plays, right? That's how you become a Pro Bowler at linebacker. You get a lot of sacks, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, interception, pass breakups, tackles for loss. Bernard's that type of guy. Now, there's other really good linebackers in the AFC, and they don't really take a lot of off-ball linebackers, which kind of makes it difficult. You got the guys with the Jets and Mosley and Williams. You got Roquan Smith with the Ravens. It feels like those guys are always very much favorites of the Pro Bowl. But Terrel Bernard, I think, is certainly capable of being part of that conversation this year, and I think the splash plays will absolutely continue. All right, folks, on the other side of it, we got some stuff on Von Miller, Cole Bishop, Christian Benford, the Jets, all kind of stuff here. So be sure to stick with me. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Welcome back, folks. Got some more takes to get into. As a reminder, I'd love for you to check out the Locked On Bills subtext community. A link in today's show notes to join. Of course, the rally on the river. There's a link in today's show notes to see the event page there, and check out the new Substack that I just launched. There's an article in there that gives you my 10 biggest thoughts about the Bills entering this season. I got pretty candid on a lot of that stuff. Check it out. It's free for everybody for this week. I'd love for you to see it and consider being part of what I have planned for all the content there throughout the course of the year. Again, a link in today's show notes to check that out. All right, let's keep it going here. Next one is from Eric. Von Miller reclaims the starting edge job by the end of the seaon and gets back to 12-plus sacks, winning NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Aggressive, Eric. Aggressive. Let's start by acknowledging that Von Miller will not be the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. That's going to go to one of these quarterbacks, right? You have Kirk Cousins, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers. All these guys are coming off of injury, and if any one of them has a reasonably good season, they're going to be the Comeback Player of the Year. Anthony Richardson's part of that mix. There's just too many of those guys that I see. Daniel Jones, that would be unlikely, but there's players. Too many quarterbacks is what I'm trying to say. Too many quarterbacks. So I don't think that would happen. Even if Von Miller had 12 sacks, I don't think he would be the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. I don't know that he's going to be a starter. I don't think that should be part of the plans. I think part of maximizing what's left from Von Miller at 35 years old is him not starting and him not playing 50, 60% of the snaps. I think you want Von 35 to 45% of snaps and playing long and late downs, rushing the passer. I don't need Von Miller on the field, 1st and 10 from the 30. I don't need him on the field. I need him on the field 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, passing downs. Unleash the guy. I think that's how you get the most out of him. Now, could that lead to 12 sacks? Of course. It's Von Miller. Am I going to predict that? No. I watched last year. I know that he's 35 and coming off of an ACL. But I don't know that I completely dismiss this possibility. There's been some very encouraging signs so far this offseason. Schniff says Cole Bishop will not see the field in 2024, barring an injury to Taylor Rapp. I could see this. I don't think the Bills are going to play a third safety just to play a third safety. We'll see who the guy is week 1. The Bills released a depth chart. It looks like it's Damar Hamlin. Could you see Damar Hamlin not playing well and somebody else stepping in? Yeah. Could it be Cole Bishop? Sure. Could it be Mike Edwards? Sure. Could the Bills use a third safety on long and late downs like they did Jordan Poyer last year and drop Dorian Williams from the lineup in those situations and that third safety be Cole Bishop or Mike Edwards? Yeah. I don't know. I see the path, right? I see the path through all of these possibilities. Whether it's eventually they just try him at safety because they need an option, whether it's as a third safety situationally or as a guy that, hey, one of these other guys does a great job and they put Cole Bishop more as a 2025 thing. Now, could he still factor in on special teams? Yeah, and I think he's got the type of skill set that's appealing for special teams. So I think the range of possibilities for Cole Bishop this year is pretty wide, and it could be a quite the journey to see how it plays out. Evan says Christian Benford plays all 17 games and becomes an All-Pro. I like Christian Benford a ton. I did an entire podcast on him at some point this offseason. I don't remember when it was, but we went Christian Benford for 30-something minutes, and I really got into who he is as a player, and I think very, very highly of him. He's excellent. Excellent player. Physical, ball skills, super disciplined in coverage, but also aggressive. I really like him. Will he be an All-Pro? Whew. That might be aggressive. Would I be completely stunned? No. If you would have said Pro Bowler, I'd have been, all right, we're getting somewhere. I kind of buy that. I think he's going to benefit from being with Rasul Douglas, too. I think there's a lot of similarities with how they play that could really lead to a feisty pair of corners. So, yeah, I think highly of Christian Benford. I'll stop short of predicting this with you, but I think he's going to have a great season. Rich says the Bills will break their team season sack record. Their record is 57 in 2013. At 2013 was that the Jim Schwartz defense. He had Hughes and Marcel Darius and Mario Williams and Kyle Williams. I love that defense, man. You want to talk about a team that showed up on long and late downs and got sacks. Now, they obviously didn't get to the playoffs. But that team, you just knew if it was long and late, that pass rush was going to be there. That's what I want, folks. I want that so bad. I mean, I don't think so, though. I don't agree with the take here. I know the Bills had over 50 sacks last year. They were one of like 5 teams in the league that had over 50 sacks. It's certainly within the realm of possibilities. I don't think they're going to break it. I think they could push for 50, but I don't think they get to 58 to break the record. I like the take, though. I love the aggressive take. Corey says the Bills' defense will rank top 5 in the following categories: sacks, tackles for loss, and interceptions. Can see it. I can see it, especially sacks and tackles for loss. Well, they got a lot of sacks last year, and tackles for loss. I mean, they will send these linebackers. They will run blitz them. Terrel Bernard is a very good gap shooter. Dorian Williams is as well. Ed Oliver is a tackle for loss guy. Daquan Jones, healthy. Greg Rousseau. Yeah, you got some guys that can do this. I think that's possible. The one that might be the most tricky is interceptions. You know, they say interceptions year over year are kind of random. I do think the Bills have a couple of good ball hawks at corner in Benford and Rasul Douglas. Do they have the guys at safety? Now, Mike Edwards has got big-time ball skills. Is he going to play enough? We'll see on Taylor Rapp. I think these are all possible things. If this happens, boy, Bills defense is going to be exactly what they want to be. Big play defense in terms of getting splash plays, but also limiting big plays by the offense they're facing. So this would be a great story to tell if this happens. Bub says for the third straight year, the Bills will have to come from behind to win the division. Yeah, I think so. And what this really comes down to is the Jets and the Dolphins, their schedules to start the season, soft. I mean, you could see a world where Miami is 8-1, 8-2, something like that through 10. You could see the Jets being same type of thing, 9-1, 8-2, just based on how their early season schedules stack up. Now, one thing that I've learned, I mean, not that this is a very aggressive take, but like nothing ever goes exactly how you think it's going to go. You look at certain games, you say, yeah, they're going to win these ones. Yeah, you know what? They normally don't. Usually it doesn't go exactly how you think it's going to. So, yeah, you look at it one way and then it turns out to be another. I can see that. And meanwhile, the Bills' schedule, there's nowhere to hide the whole way. There's moments where you're like, okay, yeah, the Bills should handle their business there. But then it's like, okay, they handle the business there. Here comes the Texans, or here comes the Ravens, or here comes the Chiefs, or the 49ers, or the Lions, right? I mean, come on. It's a crazy schedule. There's nowhere to hide. But I do think there are some favorable moments for the Bills middle to end of the season. So could you see the Bills through 10 games being 6-4, 7-3? The Jets and Dolphins have 8 or 9 wins. And then as the season plays out, the battle-tested team, the Bills, that always shows up late in the season compared to the Dolphins, who have historically flopped late in the season. The Jets, who never meet their expectations, that they never earn but always have. Yeah, I could see it. I think you're right about this, Bub. I do. I'm in on this take completely. Travis says the Buffalo Bills return to being an overall top 5 special teams unit despite questions about Tyler Bass's reliability. Please, God, let that be true. I don't know. I'm concerned about Tyler Bass. I'm not concerned about Sam Martin. I thought he had a great preseason. I think he finished the season last year so well. He's a proven NFL punter. I think the Bills' coverage units will be fine. I think they'll be okay in the return game. They must like this Codrington guy to be the returner. But I think Tyler Bass, this guy's going to make 75% of his field goals or worse. That's going to be tough to think favorably on the Bills' special teams. So I could see the rest being pretty good, but I don't know about this place kicker they have. Bog says Bass 89.5% field goal makes. So that would be the career best. I think his career best before this year has been like 87 something percent. If he hits 89.5%, that'd be a career best. And right now, I am not predicting a career best season from Tyler Bass. There's no information that makes me feel like that's going to happen. Last one, Buffalo Michi says Josh outplays the Jets defense both games, and we crush the Jaguars, thus killing 2 narratives in one season. Yeah, I could certainly see this. Josh is fine against the Jets as long as he doesn't put his cape on and try to do too much. Like, the Jets are the ultimate team that tests Josh Allen's willingness to be patient and not force throws. And whenever he's willing to just do the smart right thing with the football, live to play the next down against the Jets, the Bills will be fine. Jaguars week 3. I mean, the Bills are going to have so long for that game. They played the Dolphins week 2, Thursday Night Football. The next game is home, Jaguars, Monday Night Football. it's going to take forever. Like the Bills are going to play the first 2 games of the season, and the Bills are going to be whatever they're going to be, 2-0, 1-1, 0-2, whatever it's going to be. But then that wait from Thursday to the next Monday Night Football is going to feel like an eternity. I think the Bills, with that extended rest, I think that's really big for them this time around against Jacksonville. What makes Jacksonville tough? I don't know that they're a very sound operation. I think they're certainly, Trevor Lawrence is situationally poor at times, but they have so many prototypical players on defense at all 3 levels that it doesn't even matter if they're schematically sound. They just have these dynamic physical traits across the board that just make it tough to execute against them. But I think the extended rest with the game being in Buffalo on Monday night, I think that's enough for the Bills to not have to deal with disappointment against the Jaguars. I think the Bills at least go 1-1 against the Jets. All right, folks, there you have it. Me reacting to the hottest takes sent in by our Discord community for the Bills entering 2024. Tomorrow, crossover Thursday. I'll be joined by Alex Clancy of Locked On Cardinals. We're going to get you ready for that matchup. You'll get my full game primer on Friday. You get leftover thoughts, banged up Bills, predictions later in the week, the rally on the river on Saturday. Check it all out, folks. It's a busy stretch here for us on Locked On Bills. Tons of content, and I couldn't be more excited to be here for the 2024 season. Make sure that you are subscribed. Would love it if you took a second to rate, review, and share the podcast. Have a great rest of your day. Go Bills, and I look forward to catching up with you again real soon.